So kind.
Okay.
So being 6:03 in the evening, this meeting is strictly limited in time because the Patriots are playing at 7:30. Eight.
Oh, did they move up the game?
Yeah.
18, I think. Meanwhile, back at the ranch,
Joe has several dollars running on bet
On the game,
on some of the players.
I've got 2 players for my fantasy on
Yeah,
there.
figured.
oh, okay.
Bourne and
Oh, he's good.
Brady.
He's good.
Oh, that's a good one.
I do have Brady, but wrong team.
Yeah.
I knew
He
that.
got me a lot of points this
He
week. though.
actually won next.
Yeah, he did good for me.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch. So this is public access cable committee meeting at the studio. We are running in a hybrid mode, so the public, and more particularly Faith, can join us. So for that reason, I'll do a roll call. So we go around the table. Peter, you here?
Sam, Pete here.
Jeff,
Here.
Faith,
Here,
and sorry, what's your name? Steve, that's right.
Here.
And I'm here as well. So, and Joe is also here
Here,
as staff. So we're trying to follow the requirements of the open meeting law. We are recording this. It is an open meeting. People are welcome to join us either via Zoom or in person. So as we have one Zoom member, we will do each vote by roll call. Everybody good with that? Good.
Yeah.
So,
I can't hear.
what?
I can't hear.
Okay, well, I'm doing the best I can because I'll run out of voice if I'm not careful. Can you hear me?
Barely, yep.
Can we turn the microphone up on that?
Turn it up.
No, that's the settings.
Glad we have our acoustics
Zoom.
man there.
Zoom has
settings in
settings.
Zoom.
You might be able to-
Okay, just taking a little break from the meeting just to enhance the audio. I think we can go to,
Oh, maybe because it's in recording that you don't get the settings.
Shouldn't care about recording, but I would have thought it would have picked up, at least with that distance. it should have
Certainly
picked
should.
up.
Certainly should.
no. What's this?
Don't worry about that. You're not using it. Go to the rocket ship. Go to system preferences if that's what you're looking for. Sound, no, probably not. Well,
Maybe.
no, there you go. You want input. And bring the microphone all the way up. Is that better, Faith?
I can hear you better.
Okay, we just turned the microphone up.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me speaking normally?
Yep,
Okay.
It's not even facing me, so that's good.
I can hear you.
Okay. I'll turn my hearing aids up, see if that helps. Okay, we've done the roll call, public comments. I have 3 of them. Anyone have public comments
have
other
one.
than me?
Yeah.
Pete, you're up.
First, okay. Well, this is directed to you, Steve.
Oh, thank you. What have I done now?
We were talking about problems with the music on Talking Baseball.
Yes.
And you said to me, if I could find the cylinder of the record, you could use it. My grandmother donated to me her entire collection of old records.
Oh, boy.
This is the first recording of Take Me Out to the Ball Game in 1908.
Okay,
And
Wow.
it plays pretty well. And it was written by Albert von Tilzer. Steve, you know the name? Probably the biggest pop artist of right of the time. Put Your Arms Around Me, Honey. I'll be with you in Apple Blossom Time.
That I know.
Okay.
Oh, I like that one.
And he died in 1946, which was 75 years ago this year. So this is now allowable to use.
So he was the one who wrote it
Yes.
and the music, words and music.
Yes.
Okay,
You wrote that arrangement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted.
and that's the one you're using.
This is the first time this was ever recorded. And this is interesting. It's the first double-sided record ever made.
Oh, really?
1908, first time they ever made a double-sided record.
So do we need to put that into the
So-
Pacc archives, or are you just gonna keep it?
So we may try a re-recording for the opening of Target Baseball.
Actually, if you record it,
Record's fine.
scratches and all the rest of
Oh,
it,
because you can Dolby it down, so it's pretty good.
that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I did have the cylinder after all.
Yes, except it's been flattened out.
That should belong in some
Smithsonian?
Hall of Fame, right?
Oh, well, I mean,
Smithsonian
it
or
was-
the
It
Rockin'.
was released by Columbia. I saw one for $500 on eBay yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's not a rip, it's not a new, there's a lot of copies of it. Take Me Out of the Ballgame is a new shit.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Do you have anything else? You've had
Just-
enough
just for
fun
you.
for tonight. I knew that. Anyone else have public comments? I had a communication from one Steve Archambault, one of these days I'll say that.
Yeah.
He said he has to leave at 6:30 for a practice, so if we can respect that and give Steve an opportunity to speak on any of the subjects, even if we haven't reached them. And I do appreciate you giving me a heads up on that.
You're welcome.
He also sent out a bunch of documents, which I had a look. It looks like for one of them to be valid, we need 45 tenors on the committee.
Yeah.
Well, when we
It was
talked last
kinda
time,
cool,
you wanted
yeah.
an example, so I found a
Right.
couple of things that could be used.
They were interesting. This is a work in progress, but thank you for seeking them out and sending them around to the committee. I appreciate that.
Yes, I read them too.
The other thing I have is I had a communication from one Heather Lemieux. Giving me the date of the, trying to put somewhere very carefully.
Bylaws.
Our budget meeting with the finance committee is March the 24th. I don't have a time on it at this point. So I get a choice of going to that or doing something for my wife's birthday.
Yeah.
Where do you want to live on March 25th?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So that means, Jeff, for next month's meeting, would you put draft budget on it?
Draft budget.
Well, we've got to start somewhere, so. And Joe, do you want to work with me and try and create that for next meeting?
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to, the date of our next meeting, oh no, that's on the agenda, so I don't need to worry about that. Budget and the House Senate bill on live streaming did get sent out by the Board of Selectmen or the Select Board, depends on how old you are. So, anyone have anything else for public comments? Hearing none. The November the 1st meeting minutes were sent out. Thank you, Jeff. I had a quick scan through them, didn't see anything of concern. Anybody else?
About 3.
Okay.
yeah,
It's Jeff speaking. I made the corrections that Faith recommended from her email on the
Oh, I
minutes.
didn't see that.
Which
Okay.
were, I didn't see.
Yeah, we need to know what they were. Oh, you made them in the copy we got?
Yes. And the minutes.
Yeah, the minutes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
So-
I made a copy. I made the corrections
So-
that
So
Faith,
these minutes are post
just,
fate.
Yeah.
It was just the spelling of my last name. And
Oh.
also, I didn't understand some of the minutes because I was in a lot of pain last month. I had just been operated on and I had to leave the meeting. So I didn't understand what the meeting was saying down in the lower part of the minutes.
Well, if you have particular questions, now's the time to raise them.
Well, there's some other corrections.
Yeah, you mentioned you didn't understand the high school students. So that was in the PAC bylaws, PACC handbook. I guess in the bylaws, it was just saying that Lunenburg high school students cannot be committee members.
No, the bylaws presently state that any resident of the town or any Lunenburg High School student is eligible to submit their name for consideration to be appointed to Pacc as a committee member.
Yeah,
Pacc people at that meeting would like to see that removed. I have a report on that in a few minutes.
And not allowed, yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Well, that's on the agenda.
So
If
I'll
we're gonna
answer that in a minute.
Okay. Anyone have anything else on the minutes?
Yes.
Please.
Under the roll call, we
Mhm.
had a visitor, it wasn't a public comment, a visitor. His name is Paul Serapis. It's
Right.
misspelled here. So
I
it
have
should
that on
be-
the public comments.
We
No.
don't normally put
Yeah,
the public's name in because there could be 20 of them.
So what? Who knows, dude? I mean, we can have ever been on.
Okay.
If they speak.
Okay,
Well, one time we had a protest at the senior center. We fired a dance teacher. 30 women came in. We want our dance teacher back. It was
wow,
like a street protest. And we had to put
Okay.
them all in. I don't care if you don't want to, but this, yeah.
typically we haven't done, although typically we also have only had people like Bob Ebersol and the guy from the finance committee and an ex-PAC member was known to turn up.
Well, if you want to leave it that his name is not spelled correctly anyway.
Oh,
I mean,
Sarapas. See him in the, he writes for the ledger.
APAS.
PAS.
he does, I've noticed that.
And at the end, he interviewed me this afternoon.
Oh, he did? Are you
For
a
what?
member of the police department now?
No, it's doing a new thing, couples that deal with committees in town. Talk about the senior center. Next meeting is not December 6th.
In the minutes,
In the minutes, it is.
that's today.
That's today, yeah.
Today is December 6th.
On the agenda, it's got November,
Is it
January
right
the
both
10th.
ways? Okay.
That may need to be January the 3rd, but we can discuss that one again.
Something else.
See, yeah, I put the.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Anything else on the minutes, Pete?
It's not.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Second. Or do Pete.
Any further discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Pete,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Steve. Oh, aye, Faith,
Aye.
thank you.
Okay.
Just trying to confuse things. I'm pretty successful. Okay, moving right along, what I would suggest we do,
I would
unless
like,
anyone has any objections, is to discuss the bylaws next.
right, I was gonna
Give
suggest
Steve
we
an
move that up.
opportunity to escape and blow his own horn.
You bet.
Hmm.
So the PAC committee met last week and they have no problem with adding Channel 99.
The PAC committee, the bylaws.
I mean, the bylaws committee.
Okay,
Um,
just checking.
And they are fine with the vacancies as written. PAC vacancies shall be appointed by the select board to serve the balance of the unexpired term.
Okay,
They thought that was fine the way it was written. They have they have tabled or any Lunenburg High School student. Several members want to look into and are going to speak to the select board about whether that should be included in every committee.
Yeah.
Or, because the high school at the moment is doing a big push on getting students involved in community. Whether they're interviewing people, they have projects going on to help certain committees. They're doing all kinds of things. And a couple of the committee members would like to make sure that the select board, hold on a second, the select board isn't thinking that they want to have more high school kids involved, because this is the only place in the bylaws where it says or full-time students at Lunenburg High School. So before to vote it in or out, they want to check to see if the select board would like to have more high school participation in the committees, or they want their opinion, I guess. They want more information. Does that make sense? They want more information before they
Okay.
take it out of this. So they've tabled it.
Not more information from
No,
us.
no.
More
I
information
explained
in a
what we were
broader
doing
sense.
and all that, and they said, that's fine. And then one of the members has wanted to check with the select board to see. I guess there's a thing to get more people involved in
Right.
the local stuff.
So
So
make
they
it-
want to know if maybe we should add this to the others
Not take it out of
and
ours.
not take it out of ours. So that's just in flux. Now, go ahead.
Well, the school committee had a high school student that just gotten out of high school,
As an advisor,
right? Wasn't she
Yeah.
an elected member?
not an elected member.
I voted
No.
for her.
Oh, no, she's in college.
Oh, she was in high school. She just graduated high school, but she's able to come to
She is over, like,
communicate.
let me clarify then. If you are 18, a resident of Lunenburg and a registered voter, you can run for any committee you want.
Right.
She was 18, a registered voter, and could run, whether she was in high school or college.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that was, I kept saying, well, anyone from the high school, and they said, but not everyone is 18 and a registered voter.
Okay.
I said, okay, so you want to clarify that?
Okay.
And they said, yes, we'd like to get clarification to see. So thank you for bringing that up, because I'd forgotten to say that.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, that would work with us as long as someone was able to make the meetings.
right,
Right.
she makes the meetings, most of
No.
them by Zoom.
The problem was that we had before was sophomores and freshmen were on the committee and they either lost interest or went off to college somewhere.
And that's the concern, because that was a concern we had with that statement, is that it could be someone who, yeah, sure, I'll be on the committee, then they never show up, or
Well,
they don't,
But it goes on their letter that says
Right.
what things they've done.
whether
Yeah.
they did or not.
Right.
So they want to check with the select board, and that was it. But thanks for bringing that up, because I had forgotten
the
that.
problem with the
point.
old committee was there was no maximum at the time. So
Right.
they were up to 9 or 10 members for a while.
Yeah.
Right,
They just had Martha Cheeseman was on it and she was advisor to some kids, got them to come along to work on a project.
and then they
They
left,
didn't have 3 years in mind. They
right.
did
Yeah.
that.
So they're gonna check into that. Everything else you did, they said was fine.
Okay,
So that's my bylaw report.
so we can't actually finalize it till we get this last answer.
No, it's in that you want it out.
Oh,
We
you
were
have
the
to
ones,
finalize it.
the
not
bylaws
us.
people will go in and
Gotcha.
finalize it. And when they do finalize that, I'll bring it back.
Thank you. Can I suggest one more slight thing?
Sure.
And that's just because they're a full-time student at the high school here, doesn't mean they're a resident here, because they have this inter-school swapping.
Oh,
don't they?
Yeah,
So,
Right.
that's true.
choice.
Well, then the reverse holds true, that they could be a resident but go to a different school.
So,
So
Mhm.
That's right.
all
Yeah.
I read is that it's not ambiguous. I'm not trying to solve it.
Okay,
Mhm.
I'll bring that up
That's
at our
right.
next meeting,
That's right.
or,
We have kids' choice out.
okay, so you can continue. I'll write that.
Oh, that's kind of you. Thank you
In
so
school.
much.
But not
Okay, anyone else
resident.
have anything else on bylaws, membership? or
Yes, I
that?
do.
Please.
You tasked me last time to start to piece together
Yes.
a book. And I thought I'd do 2 pieces.
Okay.
Pass it around, see what you think.
Excellent.
First is how to join Pacc.
Mhm.
and the second is meetings.
Okay,
And I've got about 8 or 10 bullets for each, just as a, the
so
way,
this is a skeleton that we
Yeah.
have to fill out.
that's what you asked me to do.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, sir.
So what is this for?
This is for a handbook for members,
Oh, okay.
how to join PAC. So if someone decides they want to join PAC, first they have to fill out a talent bank form.
Mhm.
Then they should attend a PAC meeting or two, see what we do.
Yep.
Indicate to PAC they are interested in becoming a member. At that point, PAC will vote to recommend you to the select board. And this is duplicate work, but this is what they require. You also have to fill out an application form for the select
Oh,
board.
really?
Yep,
Isn't that the
they,
talent
they
form?
have their own, well, they have their own form.
Oh.
It's 5, 6 questions, your background, your experience,
Oh,
blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah,
blah.
yeah. I
Oh,
remember that.
Then you have to appear before the select board for an interview.
Yep.
And the board's approval, you begin attending PAC meetings, and new members will be orientated by the chair and others upon achieving membership.
by the
Sounds good.
Let's put
That's what we all had to go through.
that- It sort of is pretty much what we all went through, except. the
Yeah.
Select board form I've never
But
heard
I
of.
was it ever passed out to it. When I joined this committee, I was given nothing,
No,
but there should be.
no, but you say there's an application form for the select board. When I joined, it was a 2-step process. Talent bank form followed by interview.
Yeah, I think-
That was all.
I think since she will not be named is involved,
Rhonda?
they up the ante. Let's help you, Rhonda.
Well, I know when I was first did the talent bank, they recommended that I go observe a
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
And Bob Ebersol was there at the meeting
Hmm.
as as a town select board representative. At the time, the select board were trying to attend the committee meetings. So when I went up for the interview, he said that he had observed me at observing the meeting and that I had been helpful or had made some comments. So it all worked out well.
If this is the correct procedure, then
Yep.
let's leave that in.
When they first put, I wouldn't say this has been in effect by the select board even 10 years, Steve, has it?
This
That-
process?
No, that they've been interviewing people.
I was interviewed in 14.
Yeah.
And it took me by surprise.
Yeah, but not all that long. That's
Yeah.
relatively new procedure.
Could be.
Well, they ask you why you want to join the committee, which
Right.
I think is,
I just want to
Telling.
say, when they started doing that, a lot of the members that wanted to join the Council on Aging were elderly people who are very timid about appearing on television,
Oh, really?
oh,
very timid. In fact, 2 or 3 people said, if I have to go through that, I will not join.
Hmm.
So
aw,
I was asked to go with them and pretty much hold their hands while they do it, assist them through.
yeah.
They weren't excited about that at all.
Okay, with respect to how to join PAC, any further comments? I like it. That's my comment.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good starting point. Meeting.
now meetings. This is just information. I think pretty much this is all covered. All meetings are held in room 11 of the Passio School. Time of meeting is 6 o'clock on the first Monday of the month. If the day of the meeting falls on a holiday or the weather will not permit, the meeting will be held on the following Monday.
Yep.
The school is canceled for weather, the meeting will be canceled as well.
Yep.
Members are expected to attend all meetings unless excused by the chair. Members missing 3 consecutive unexcused meetings shall have his or her voting rights suspended.
I believe it's membership. 3 consecutive unexcused. I believe they're kicked out is the way it's set up. But I don't know that.
No,
I-
according to the bylaw, somewhere in the bylaws, for some or for somewhere, it says there's a thing about. I didn't bring the bylaw. There's a thing about if you miss 3, you can be voted out.
voted out altogether.
Yeah, that was my understanding.
Nope, I didn't bring the bylaws.
No, but that was my understanding.
Yeah, there's something in there as I've been reading through that a lot lately.
Yes, but it wasn't the committee, it was the board, select board that appoints you. So does the select board unappoint you, or
Well, the
You know what I
committee,
will do?
does the committee
committee would have to vote and take it. to the-
recommend?
There's a process somewhere,
Yeah.
bylaws.
Yeah.
check
So
bylaws
it's whatever,
about
right.
Committee.
So if we could,
I'll
So the
check that.
committee would probably recommend to the select board.
I
to-
didn't, I knew there was more details than that, but I didn't think we
Well, no.
needed it for a handbook.
You know what, I will check to see what it says,
Yeah.
if these are the bylaws or the charters. I know it says
one or
it
the other,
somewhere.
but we should be in
I
line.
will check, Steve checks.
Can I,
You know, it's been, I just want to say one thing, employee handbooks are legal documents that are binding. So we have to be very careful that we're as accurate as we can be.
Yeah.
I know this, having worked in human resources in different companies, that employee handbooks are very important, the wording.
We're not paid employees, Faith.
It doesn't matter.
here.
There,
So,
it's still,
sadly, we are employees though.
yeah.
yeah,
But I
It's-
read through one of the things that Steve sent over, and it all goes into
That was amazing detail in some. cases.
incredible details about
The
things. that-
festival of music stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
I included that, because it had lots of details so that it would help think about what details did we want to have in it.
I still
Yeah.
don't know where we're gonna get 45 tennis from, but you know, it's
I'll work
good.
on that.
Thank you.
well, I would think our handbook should be minimal.
Right.
And to the point.
Yes,
Exactly.
it should be, but remember, every aspect of it is a legal document.
Can I suggest one change? And that is the meetings on the first Monday of the month at 6 o'clock. Instead of defining it in the handbook, should be defined at the first meeting of the financial year, typically July, based on what the members can do. Normally, it's up to the committee to decide when they want to do it, but it should be changeable, not fixed.
Okay,
That's all I'm suggesting.
because I've had a problem with this happening in this committee a couple times. I think it should be fixed at least for the year.
That's what I meant.
I mean, if
Sorry.
someone has some other
So-
commitment,
At the July one,
That's-
you fix it for the year. That's what I meant.
okay.
But I agree with you on that.
yeah,
And
and I like what you added about,
the weather or whatever else.
Yes,
yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's just, I think there should be
Well,
an opportunity for the.
the handbook can all be changed anytime.
Well, that's true as well.
So
Yeah.
every July, we check it out. Do we need to
Yeah.
keep it or change it?
Well, we could do, so we
It's
could
an
have,
annual document.
we could have one line that says that as well then. Instead of
Okay,
getting rid of this, add that line. How about that?
okay.
I'm just trying to keep
No.
things flowing.
Keep it complicated.
or you could just write the meeting time and date will be set each new fiscal year by a majority vote of the committee
For the year. I mean, that's the point.
for the year, right?
You just say annually, we will
Fine, I'm good with that.
just leave it at that.
That's fine too.
Anyone else have comments on the meeting section?
Now, there's gonna be more to it, but I just wanted to start.
Yeah,
out
no,
with
no,
this. Our
in fact-
responsibilities and,
I was officially going to thank you for doing this.
well,
Yes,
Good work.
yes. It sounds nice and detailed.
he's already got his malt, I can tell.
Okay, meantime, back of the ranch, one more time. So the manager's monthly report, which was handed out.
Yeah, a list was handed out. This is Joe McLaughlin speaking, doing the manager's report for December 6th, 2021. We did receive a bill to renew our DeWolf music for the year. This needs to be discussed by the committee because we did not have a great track record with this organization. And I did not get an answer from my last problem that I had with them.
Mm.
Their music is supposed to be able to play without copyright infringement, to be used on projects or any other reason we need the music.
Right.
Royalty
Royalty free.
free. I did use it for a project a couple of times and it was no problem. But we need to use it for background music on our station on channel 8, channel 9, and channel 99. And that seemed to have been a problem. So here we are, ready for renewal or not.
How much?
It's $1,440
That's a week or the whole year?
for the year. For the year.
For that show, right? That's
Are
it.
there alternative suppliers?
Oh, Lord.
There are alternatives at a much higher rate, a much higher rate.
Was- Did Wolf, were you able to download music and keep, or is it just?
Yes. We can download and keep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you
Can we do
download
that?
enough to get you by until we find a better supplier? Unless you want to continue with the Wolf, even if you had, 1 or 2 issues with them.
That's what I need to know from the committee is their feeling on the fact that we've had some failure with them. My opinion is, I like your idea of keeping what we have so far, using that until we find another vendor. I like that idea.
Can we use it if we're not subscribing to them?
Yes,
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
Can we?
I mean,
pay-
because I have them downloaded onto my computer.
Right. Do they do a monthly subscription?
I would have to check into that.
Because if they did, what I would suggest is we do it monthly and investigate anything else we can find. That means we can cancel it basically at 1 month's notice, but I don't remember if they did a monthly one.
I doubt they do, but I can,
So 120 a month would equate to the 1440 roughly.
Joe, I need to ask the stupid question. What programming do we use this music for mostly?
well, we don't really use it for programming. We use it for background music on the
During-
bulletin.
On the bulletin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the
Okay.
killer,
And
Because seizing most of the shows we have,
right?
there's no music.
Yeah.
No.
a lot of times we don't put music into the opening and the closing. If it's a quick open.
I know, like
quick
when you do the
close.
Hickory Hills Boat Parade, you put some music in behind that,
Yeah,
but there's no vocals.
right.
But it's mostly just during those,
Actually, is this vocals? I think mainly this is music, right?
Yeah, there are some vocals in
Wow,
here.
okay.
Yeah,
Also sound effects, right?
sound effects, stuff like that. I happen to like DeWolf a lot. I like their choices. They've got lots of choices, lots of resources. I really like them, but I don't know why we can't play their music in our background.
It's kind of what I thought it was for. That's
Yeah,
why we got it.
that's why we got it. So what I'll do is I'll find out if they will do a monthly subscription. I want to talk to Andrew, who was my contact person there.
I still don't understand, you can't use it in your background. What do you mean?
It's just using it. If you're putting it out on the cable system,
You know?
then we either have to deal with copyright issues, thank you for the record, and the wax cylinder that you still got at home, right?
Mhm. Much more modern version.
Or you buy royalty-free, access to royalty-free music,
Mhm.
and then it shouldn't bounce on you through YouTube,
Oh.
through any of these things. Be it background, foreground, be it the subject.
So this
of a
can be
deep
used in any
analysis.
fashion you want to use
Yes,
it.
Yeah.
So this can be
including
used,
broadcast, right?
Yeah, on broadcast, or if I did a video that I wanted to use some background music in, I could use this, and they have tons of resources. It's really excellent. But when we go to stream channel 8 onto YouTube, which we've been trying to do because of the municipal meetings, we get a violation
Only when the bulletin board runs.
only when the bulletin board runs.
So,
And their last thing they said to me is, maybe it's the graphics you're using.
right.
I said,
What?
no, it's not the graphics we're
They
using.
can have copyright issues, as we learned the other day. You know, even the smiley face, the guy that made the original smiley face did not copyright it, which is why it's everywhere.
And you know where it was invented?
I don't remember.
Springfield.
Worcester, Mass.
Worcester.
Oh, was it?
Mass,
It's RPI or somewhere?
So is that love sign. Hello,
Oh, that's in Philadelphia.
was it?
LOVE.
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Oh, I thought that
Oh,
Big,
was,
huge monster one.
So what's the best strategy here is
Well-
find out if they have a monthly one and do that. And in parallel, start looking for something else.
right.
Swallow it and leave you
Do
with
they
the
have-
problem. And just pay for another year. And if we do, I'd suggest we still keep looking for something.
I'm really ignorant about this. Do they have in their library music listed by
Yes,
categories?
categories.
Oh, yes.
Different kind of categories?
Yes, I will do a
Exciting
screen
music
share if
or-
you don't,
yeah.
Fake Bach or something?
if,
I don't know about that particular one, but I like that as a concept.
I mean, how do you know what to pick when you're going through it?
We've actually, I
I'm gonna
believe,
do a screen share for a second.
sucked a lot down and just use it randomly out of that.
Oh, okay.
But
I
you're
was
right.
curious. you
No,
know,
no,
When she put on the Hickory Hills Boat Parade, it's where'd that music come from?
yeah,
I didn't recognize it, and some of it
parade,
sounds.
not race, but yes. Would have been fun to see race.
So here's
Is it
the wolf.
original music?
I believe it's both types.
It's not
but
like, it's not like music.
The
No.
stuff that I got, the Davenport, came on CDs that I've used in the past.
Where's the
And
US?
almost all of that is synthesized.
Oh,
So
okay.
they've done their own
So it's
thing.
elevator music.
So it's really, well, it's better than elevator, a lot better,
Oh,
because it's characterized by what it does. So there's sports music. It's the one I was talking to you about before your wax cylinder, right?
okay.
But that's the Davenport one, but with that, you buy a CD-ROM, they're about $20 each.
Mhm.
They've got 30 tracks on typically, which is 10 themes with a 3-minute, a 1 minute, a 30-second, a 15-second, so they do different versions of it. So you can use it as a theme behind the whole program.
Now, how does supermarkets and department stores get to play songs you recognize?
They pay or do
Yeah.
copyright. We, a church, it's the only example I'm familiar with, we pay annually a fee for two licensing authorities. And people who own copyrights license it through these companies. So we pay them $150 a year. But because of YouTube, we live stream our services. My wife goes through, checks that they're covered by these two licenses and documents it. We put it up on the screen.
And they're recognizable hymns.
Yes. Yep. And that's one of the problems. Hymns we all know and love. I mean, last Sunday we had one that we used at our wedding, which is Fight the Good Fight. Do you know that one?
I lost.
So I get into trouble for that every year. So but that's all I mean, this can be, Handel or whatever, but it's been rearranged by John Williams in the 60s. So it's still under copyright.
I think I said before, we pay a fee at the senior center to show movies,
Yes, yeah, that's a very similar setup.
like $150 we get for
Right.
years for
Right.
whatever.
But do you check? If you get a DVD somebody brings in, does anyone check it's covered by that license?
I assume it says generally. But we
Really?
show- Yeah,
I wish we could
because
find that for the
it's
church.
it's our collection of movies and it's everything.
Oh, right, but there's still copyright issues. That you own them doesn't matter.
No, I mean, we never check, we just,
Yeah.
whatever the
Okay.
people want to have. Sometimes.
But you're also not live streaming this. So
No,
nobody's checking on.
no, it's just people that I see this at. I use it at school all the time. I
Yeah.
don't check.
So what's the committee's preference here?
I have to go look up my email address, my password for DeWolf, so I can't do
Oh,
it right
to
now.
get into the library?
Yeah,
I like to look at it.
I
Why don't you, we can all look at it, I believe. What's the
yeah.
schedule on paying this? I had to get that in. When do we?
Steve, you're in America.
Yeah, I learned that in school. I told you.
Oh.
When's that?
It
due?
says the billing due date is December 1st, net 30. So we have a few weeks.
I didn't understand.
Well, the
that.
due date is the 1st
January?
of December.
So it's due.
I didn't get it. It's due. I didn't pick it up until the middle of November.
Hmm.
I need to make a call to them.
Can you make a call that has two elements? One, why didn't they respond to your last problem properly?
Yeah,
Secondly, can we do it monthly? Even if we have to do it for a year, we've got to decide to do it for the year at this point, otherwise
yeah.
we're stuck.
Right.
Alternatively, so I'm open for discussion, we just pay it for the year and continue looking for something we prefer. Would that be a better way of doing it?
yeah.
Pay for it.
But I'm concerned about the customer service she's not getting.
Well, you know what?
Are you concerned about it?
They're right on it, but
Yeah,
they keep coming up with wacky reasons why it's not working. And it's like, it is your music. I keep telling them it is your music, and they
Yeah.
don't always agree with that.
Yeah, weren't we getting warnings that we were gonna lose our,
Yeah, YouTube. I can't
Yeah.
watch it anymore.
that's exactly the problem.
yeah,
I actually created a second YouTube channel to stream it to, where there are no video content, absolutely no video content on that YouTube channel, so that they can't hit us for copyright, hit us for any violations, hit us for anything. And I sent a stream from channel 8 to that YouTube channel, and we got a violation. So the violation is clearly the music,
yes.
and they are not agreeing with that. So, okay, so I will go ahead and talk to them, and
Which way? Are we just going to
What is
pay
there on
it?
Channel 8 that has music?
The bulletin
between
board goes in.
meetings.
Oh, that, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other way is to structure that channel that it's black
I
screen.
just gonna say,
Or you could structure it where with the bulletin board with no audio, just on 8 on the new YouTube channel. Actually, it's the old one, but and just do that and see what happens. See what I'm saying? So
Yes.
you still get a
yes.
violation. Then
That's a
likely it
good
is the
idea.
graphics that Andrea
because you don't,
is sucking off the web typically.
But it does sound like, I mean, they've threatened us several times. So how close are we if we get another violation to not being able to use YouTube?
Well, that's what we're trying to manage. Yeah.
Okay,
So that's beginning to sound like first off, we pay it because we're stuck if we don't.
right.
Secondly, we restructure the Channel 8 YouTube channel so that the bulletin board is on it, but there's no music behind it. Can you do that?
Well, I cannot do that. I have to take the background music off directly from channel 8.
Can't you, when you schedule, so I did again, when you put it into the casters, I'm trying not to, give me a chance. When you put it in the casters, you do that program. Can you not put it without audio?
I can in Castus for Channel 8. I can knock it off, but so.
Yeah.
So you do not want any background audio on Channel 8 ever
No, just the
during the
bulletin board,
experiment
just the bulletin board.
without audio
Yeah,
For the experiment.
for the experiment.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
Yeah.
can do that.
yes, I can do that.
And then the bulletin board on Channel 9.
people aren't gonna complain.
No,
No,
It's not gonna miss the music.
no.
The library's open today.
Okay, so
Okay.
that was number
So-
one on,
so we pay it, you talk to them. You play a new game with the audio just for the Channel 8 thing. And anybody, please look for royalty-free music, so for next year we could do something good.
Okay.
Is that good? I
Yes.
don't think it's motions or anything.
No.
okay, second thing on my manager's report is a lighting review of quotes from Jonathan Lipsy from Ockers. Needs to be discussed. I don't know if we need to do that tonight. It's a very lengthy exercise. I have the quotes on the end of my packet. Yeah, I put them in there. There are 3 quotes.
Not to be confusing, the 3 quotes all for the same system for different parts of it or different ways of doing it. Not 3 quotes we need to get
Right,
for it to go
True.
through the process. I'm
True.
just clarifying.
true.
Well, there's-
So I can get this packet to you,
well, this
Faith,
code is
if you'd like, I
for-
can,
Yeah.
I can get you the whole packet. I'll drop it by. If you want.
Okay, if it's convenient for you.
Yep, that's not a problem.
This quote's for 30 days. I mean, will it change?
Typically they put 30 days, but they're pretty flexible about it.
If you go back to them and say, look, we're serious about this,
Okay.
just
Yeah, I didn't-
confirm it.
I didn't know. Okay,
Yeah, so the
It's
first,
actually quite a nice system, but I've also found the bits of it elsewhere at a better price, but without the support. This guy offers a lot of support.
yeah,
But that means we have to structure an RFP or RFI according to the state rules and a whole bunch of other things to
mhm,
make sure that we don't get the wrong one at the end of the day.
right. So,
The biggest problem I had with it is he wanted to build, this is one of these truss systems that will fill this space.
Yeah.
Build it.
I
So
s-
forgetting that, I want to build it.
I
Looks
saw the
like fun.
pictures and it's, nothing is connected to the ceiling. So when
No,
we get a new
free-
space,
it's
it can just be
freestanding.
taken down.
when we get a new space, God willing, and the creek don't rise, this would really make a perfect secondary interview space.
Pretty
Well,
wet out
either
there.
interview, it's flexible, either interview or even kitchen.
I mean,
That
it
would
looks-
work for a kitchen one.
Sure,
I mean,
Sure,
it looks
we-
nice.
Looks great.
sure.
Yeah, it's a 10-foot cube, basically.
It's-
Right, he had given us in the first page of the quotes, studio lighting and truss. He put in a 10 by 10 by 10 square truss new. That system.
It's like 4,000 or so.
Well, I'm not clear. Actually. Truss system,
He quoted it.
oh,
twice.
here it is, yeah. It's around 3, 4, 5. It's just under $6,000. And the other page, the other quote up in the right side, it says use 10 by 10 truss system is 1,450. So we definitely would want to go with the used.
That's where we run into an RFP problem. Just trying to structure this to make sense and make sure we don't get the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Oakley, mid-Oakley.
Lighting components are listed, dimming components are listing, installation and training is listed, and on the other page, the way I printed this out on one-sided to two-sided is a little confusing, but as you can see that the total charge for the truss system, the lighting components, the dimming components, installation, training, shipping charges is $19,161.
By the way, 2 points with it. One, they all plug into each other, which you can do now with LED lights. So we don't have a huge amount of wiring. We also don't have to rewire this studio. And secondly, the controller is basically an Ethernet. It's not quite Ethernet, it's a different thing. Also, they all plug into each other. So coming off the truss would be 110 volts going onto it and a
Okay.
both-way data connection. And that's all. So we don't have cables and all the rest of the junk all over the place. 'Cause
Right.
the firemen might come by and not like it.
Yeah, firemen don't like a lot of wires. And then the other quote, not the used truss system quote, but then the next page is a JML Lighting Services. And Jonathan owns JML, Jonathan Lipsy, Lighting Services, because he is offering installation and training and any of the extras that the Ockers company does not offer, he offers. And that comes at a cost of $1,500.
He's also fairly local, was it?
He is local, he's in Brockton.
Brockton, that's right.
Mhm.
So did you want to table it or try and do something with it? This is,
Well, I'd like for the, I didn't have an opportunity to do a comparison yet, just on the equipment, which I'd like to do.
yeah,
But we need to do a request for proposal from a number of other places, just to get an idea. I believe 2 others.
do you, well, you know the rules, I don't.
Yeah,
Do you know how to write one of those? Or is it
I
something
have in the
that-
past, but I will, I'll seek help for it just to get it done. I mean, what he's given me here is basically what I can use to
Yeah,
create the request for,
Okay,
yeah, that would make it
Quote or
consistent
proposal.
so that
Yeah,
he's
apples to apples.
already answered the RFP.
Mhm.
so would you care to bring that to the next meeting?
Sure.
Is everybody good with that? Sure.
You want me to bring the,
A draft RFP for the freestanding lighting system. Be very specific on that. See, we can't drill holes in these walls.
How soon do you need it,
Well,
Joe? Yesterday or,
It's not urgent.
it's not urgent, no.
okay,
I'm sure you can find holes you don't have to drill in this wall.
Oh, I'm sure I could drill holes in this as long as I come in on a Sunday. and do it.
Okay, so I
Set the
will
alarm off.
do that.
Thank you.
Okay, we did the special town meeting on the 16th of November. We had a problem with our recorder. We bring an encoder and a recorder. The recorder is to do a backup, whatever cast, in case Castus fails during the recording. So we have to have our recording checked out.
Did
We
the
also-
casters capture it correctly?
Yes,
Okay, good. Thank you.
we had problems with the 3 CPU and the recorder during the last football game. John fixed it, but it was a mess. I think a lot of the cords and the cables have been moved around and just pieced together, and which brings me to number 5. I'm going to, bless you. Number 5, I'm going to meet with Travis. We're going to go through the 3 CPU. And I use the word overhaul, but we just have to make sure the cords are correctly done. And he wants to get a gator container for it to keep it more protected. So we have 2 concerts next week that we're not going to be using the 3 CPU, but I'm going to be using the encoder and hopefully the recorder if we can get it to work properly. So I probably won't see Travis or work with Travis until late next week. Any questions?
Do you have backup in case the recorder doesn't work?
I don't.
But you do for the town meeting, but not for these things.
Not for the concerts?
Unless you.
Not for town meeting as well. It worked
Well,
for
you
town
did.
meeting. We had a problem with it,
Your
but it
backup
worked.
is Castus
Um,
for the recorder. Castus backs it up. For the Castus, the recorder backs it up.
right.
So you did get the town meeting correctly, but if we don't have a network connection, which would be the case of the, a proper one secured with VPN, all the rest of that junk, then you've only got the recorder. But don't the cameras record on cards anyway?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can do that.
Which is a pain in the patootie, because then you have to go through and edit it.
Right. So Dan Seminator and myself went and did a test. Well, we started a test in the studio to find out how the stream would work, how well it would work for the concerts coming up. The music teacher wants the concert streamed to channel 99 and to Facebook Live. I suggested Facebook Live. They're a little more lenient on their copyright.
Also, so if
right.
these are concerts, we may run right into that.
Right, but Facebook seems to be a little more forgiving with that.
Where is the concert? In the school?
In the school auditorium.
yeah.
So
Oh.
Dan and I, we came here, maybe it was last Tuesday or Wednesday, and tried to connect to do a live stream from here just to test the
Yeah,
equipment.
yeah.
But we were having issues with the connection. So we went to, the next day, we went to the auditorium to check the connection there. And that didn't work. So we got in touch with IT and it turned out we had a town server that was down since Thanksgiving. That was the issue. So we had to wait around the auditorium for a while until IT brought up that server. As soon as IT brought up that server, our connection was good and we did a test and it ran fine.
Yes, but we don't know about from here, but it's probably this one.
We're gonna do that
Okay.
tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, thank you.
Yeah.
Just checking with completeness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to advertise for a technical production person, and I put in the upcoming week. I would say in the upcoming weeks. We have already paid the cost of having the indirect costs for having the technical production
Oh, yeah.
person.
But to be fair, when we get him, they'll be able to recalculate it. That was designed for a whole year,
Right,
so.
but I mean, that's just a small point to the
It's not-
side, on the
yeah,
side.
It's not lost money at this point,
No, but we,
or her, sorry,
him or her,
I'll get into trouble.
yeah. So I have put here pending edits. I sent some
I'm
edits to
sorry,
Steve.
and I found them this afternoon.
Oh, terrific. Okay,
So I will try and go through. The last month's been a bunch of other issues.
okay, absolutely.
So that's my fault, sorry.
That's okay. So that's in progress. I was asked by Heather and by Heather Lemieux and Julie Bellevaux, are we going to advertise for videographers because we're down 2 or 3? I said no, only because I wanted to see if a technical production person was hired in the upcoming weeks. That would give me a better idea of what kind of videographer help we would need, really to assist them mostly, and to just get a bearing on that, because we just have enough people. I would like to get another videographer, but we're just covering everything now, And I don't know if I would be able to give that person enough work at the moment. So my answer to them was not right at the moment, but after we hire a technical production person, then we can see where we're at with videographers.
Given the way we cycle through them, I would be happy if you brought another one in right now.
Bring one
It's
in.
not going to be very quick to get hold of this production person.
No,
That's a much more serious setup and process to bring them in.
okay,
So I would encourage, even two, because I'm sure two will also disappear. We cycle through them rather fast.
yes. Okay, good. I'm glad for that recommendation because I was sort of on the fence with
Yeah.
it, but you've got a good point there. We're going to be starting on basketball next week, but we got to make sure the encoder and the recorder issues are taken care of. I also would like to start doing hockey this year, which is number 8. I would really, really like to do hockey. There's
Yeah.
4 games in December. I need to go over and check out the facility to see if they have an Ethernet port to see if we could do live.
Steady there, because we've got the whole VPN network
That's,
issues.
I'll tell you, that's extremely tough to videograph
Yeah,
hockey games.
is it?
The lighting is so strange because it's so bright and it's so dark. When
Okay,
I took pictures for the yearbook for 10, 12 years. I hated hockey.
okay.
And
A lot of it.
Well, they play at the Wallace Center, so
Wallace
that's where
Center, yeah.
Pittsburgh
Yeah.
State, so maybe
It's
they should have everything you
might
need
have something set
to
up, but
record.
It's
but-
not easy.
Yeah,
You have to have some experience on how to, because hockey is so fast.
Yeah,
You have to keep with it. You
yeah,
can't just keep a wide shot of the whole
right.
rink.
Let me look into what's already there. And I know I got contacted last year by a sports person at a public access place. I believe it was Leominster. He was recording the hockey games at Wallace Civic Center.
Ask Eric Short, he's a coach.
Yeah,
He's at the high school, at the high school.
Travis may be able to help as well.
I just-
okay.
Just warn you, it's a difficult
yeah.
task.
Maybe they should have black eyes. Would that help?
You probably don't remember this, but back the ways they tried on network, they have some gimmick where the puck had a flame behind it.
I actually worked
And-
briefly for a company
and-
looking at that.
And they did it
It
for
was
a while.
called-
And
it was
it
called
was,
Trackers,
it was like watching a comic.
I went,
Fire going around.
I actually went to the Boston Garden
Because nobody was watching it.
and I walked over the track, the gangway thing that
Yeah.
goes past the big wall
catwalk.
to the far side of
Yeah.
it. But once the game started, I wasn't allowed up at that level. But we took cameras in and we put GPSs in the helmets of the players so we could track them as well. Absolutely
Hope
lunacy.
there's no vocal.
Yes, right. Absolutely lunacy. But anyway, you're right
Okay,
to
so
raise that
I'll-
thing.
I will talk to people and see if it's worth our while.
Well, we might also find out if they know how to do it and do it on a regular basis, whether it wouldn't make more sense to have them do it for us. I'm just
Mhm.
saying, leave that one open for discussion,
Right, right.
because there's no point us lugging equipment over, if Fitchburg's right next door and do it on a
I just
regular
talked to
basis.
Eric about it because he would know.
Yeah, that's true.
He's been there for
Eric Short.
Eric Short.
He's a math teacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
my
been a
son
hockey
had him.
coach. He's been a hockey coach for long since I was there, which is
I won't mention my son though.
dark ages.
Okay, I sent out an email today about a holiday party. I was just thinking it would be a good thing if we all just sat down together for 2 hours and
Right.
do a Yankee Swap pizza party on the 23rd from 6 to 8.
So what's this word after party?
I don't know, what word is that, Steve?
Let's throw that out.
So anyhow, that's what I
Okay.
sent out. If
Thank you.
everybody can make it, that would be fantastic. I know it's close to Christmas, but it's only 2 hours, so.
Are you including your videographers and?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, everybody. I forgot, now that you mention it, I have to talk to Andrea.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The last three things are kind of minor. I need to train or retrain videographers on Zoom live broadcast. I'll do that this month. When we went back to in-person meetings, that went way down. Zoom broadcasts went way down. And our videographers were happy to get back into the control room. But there are some committees that still want their Zoom broadcast live. So one being the Conservation Commission. So I need to get together with the videographers. I have all the instructions. I emailed all the instructions, but I need to get together either with a small group or individuals to go through how to make that happen.
Where do they meet? The Conservation Committee.
They do Zoom meetings.
Oh, so they don't have a physical,
No,
so it's not even hybrid.
no, no,
Ah,
no. They've decided Zoom is the way they want to go.
Yeah.
interesting.
So I'll be,
Well, it's more convenient for everyone, I would think.
It still loses something. We really would prefer you here. You know.
Mm.
They
Well,
still-
once I can walk again.
Yeah, absolutely. Wasn't a criticism of you. I'm just saying,
No, I understand. I prefer Zoom,
yeah,
but
and Zoom,
even if I didn't have trouble walking,
yeah. It's
because that room is either too hot or too cold and it's dangerous at night for me.
But they still haven't solved the critical problem, the video conferencing. If I'm looking at somebody, you can't tell who I'm looking at. If I look at the camera, it looks like I'm looking at everyone individually. And it interferes with creativity. So back to life, folks, can't change it.
okay, moving on. The Lunenburg High School Athletic Department does not use Huddle, the camera system that we thought they were using. They use another company. It's called something like Northwest, something like that, to get their footage. So we can't use that footage to air.
Okay.
I've sent him emails. It's really just for a subscription for parents. And Steve mentioned at the beginning
yeah.
of the meeting that the selectmen did send out a letter regarding the streaming bill that was in committee. So that's it. If you have any questions, the other thing I'd feel remiss if I didn't go through all this exciting financial stuff. When I went through the finances, November is a Comcast payment is due in November, and I looked for the interest for November and neither was posted. So this will have to get edited. But as of today, the balance in our account is 820,700.
Isn't it 819,772? Isn't it the bottom right almost? Come to think of it, why is that number different?
I am gonna have to get back to you on that. Thank you
I'm
for
sorry,
pointing,
I-
no,
I-
thank you for pointing that
I wasn't
out.
trying to cause trouble, I'm just confused, but that happens a lot.
807.
If it doesn't post till December,
Let
we
me,
don't correct this, we put it as posting in December.
no, I correct November because they will put a November date
Oh, they will?
on it in their financial report.
Less than,
Yeah,
I'll save my comments until we do the budget on what I think.
yeah, what will happen is it's showing right
Yeah, okay.
here in their report. it would be on page 4 of their financial report, investment income. The last one was October 19th. In a week, I could go into this report and it'll say November 28th, and it will have the investment income interest. It's just interest from our account. And above it is user charges. The last one was August 12th at 47,844.
It's down a little bit.
The next one is due,
November.
the second, right, the second one of the year is due in November, and that's not showing, but when I go in to look at this report again, it'll probably say November 21st or
Oh,
something.
good.
So that will be edited. Nothing much has changed. The way I set this up is, the way I printed this is
You have
odd.
copyright permission to use this turkey for Thanksgiving.
I don't have anything outstanding.
So it's a foreign turkey.
Oh,
It's
so it's
only
okay.
American.
Well, America was the only place they had turkeys. It was going to be the national
Most
bird at
countries
one
do.
point. Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, they're called politicians.
Yeah.
Yep, there's nothing really unusual, just some concerts in December. And talking baseball is the 22nd.
Joe, I think we're gonna pass. Baseball's suspended right now.
That's right. They went
And
on
Yeah.
I think we
lockout.
just skipped this month to start next season in January.
Okay,
Just cross that off.
okay.
Uh,
Baseball is what? It's
Baseball is the work stoppage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lockout
Lockout.
going on.
Oh,
So there's no trades going on. There's nothing
Right.
can happen. I don't know how long it's gonna
Yeah.
By January, we can make up.
No training,
things.
nothing.
Nothing,
right?
no lockout.
Well, yeah, what about spring training?
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of things they have to deal with. For instance, one thing they have settled already is that minor leaguers get proper housing.
Oh,
Used to be minor leaguers could find bunks somewhere.
oh,
Now they
really?
have to have individual
When they
rooms.
travel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay,
now, because minor leaguers make nothing,
yeah.
and then they jump to millionaires.
Right.
But then they decided against that. But there's a lot of other things
Okay.
going on.
Okay, after-
So that's the 26th, Joe,
Okay.
January.
oh, you want to do it the 26th?
Yeah, okay. Now, let me be clear, that the story time is supposed to be the fortunes and the tarts, right? Have you already done,
I have to look at my schedule.
because I need to alert them. Because I know Deb and I was scheduled for January, just to be able to alert people, to let them know. Or fill in if they can't
Thought I
make
brought
it.
my calendar. Oops, I hope I brought my calendar because,
You said you already recorded Jamie doing Casey the Bat, right?
mhm, mhm.
Should you have done that?
I know he
decided.
should have done it.
I had to do it in high school. It's a
Oh.
recitation.
Mm,
Oh,
Part of the whole
really?
school, sure.
My
Ah,
calendar is missing.
They don't
and,
do that anymore.
That's a
Huh?
Well,
problem.
baseball.
School children?
Oh, no, there's
Well, that's
school stuff.
recite.
I do, not the baseball.
Well, y'all look wasn't ready for the cricket dying that day. That's all.
Right. That's a 5-day match.
I think I gave out my
Yeah, check a lot
calendar to
of people.
someone.
Watch one of those games.
It's a lot of dogs.
Did I give out a calendar to someone?
You ever sat through a 5-day match?
People do. Plus the teams have to do that. And that's 2 innings each.
A few years ago, my wife and I were over there on Boxing Day. It was the first day of the soccer season. And the place was
Here's my
mad.
calendar.
Oh,
People going
Thank
over there.
you.
It's Scarves.
What they
and
call
That
Oh,
is
yeah,
going
right.
crazy.
boy.
Okay, so this is my personal schedule. Let me see what I have for January.
Yeah.
No, December 15th.
Yeah.
With Tarts and Fortunes.
Right,
Okay,
yeah, and then I just want to make sure, because I have to alert them, because
yeah.
John Fortune had a story that he asked us to read, and we decided it was not appropriate.
Oh. Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Oh, mention Nazis, we cut it out,
Oh, yeah,
especially Christmas. Beautiful story.
yeah.
I'll let them know.
Okay.
It's Mary Ann.
And just on a quick note about story time. I found the most amazing storyteller that I have ever heard. And she'll be on the next story time. I don't know if you know Meg Arnold,
She's my neighbor,
right?
lives across the street.
Unbelievable.
I hear what she says to her kids. I hope she doesn't say it on the air.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to run the kids group in town.
Yes.
Years ago,
Yes.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, she was right down the road.
yeah, she did an amazing job.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so I think that covers everything. The only
Okay.
thing is on the page after the
Before the
calendars
vote.
is our program analysis, not much change.
Mhm.
Still 62% outsourced, 38% local.
Okay.
But one program that was very, very popular that has, I believe, almost 200 or more views on YouTube is the Historical Society's burial site presentation that they did at the library. And that got a lot of great,
That's good.
a great interest. So that's all I have.
I'm wondering, do we have any hybrid committee meetings going on at all now or not? So Zoom and. people meeting?
All of them are school committee. Well, school committee is doing hybrid. The first meeting of the month. They are doing Zoom only, their second meeting of the
Okay.
month.
But what about sewer and all the rest of them? Are they?
Sewer is doing Zoom meetings. Although they just scheduled 2 in-person meetings, one for the end of November and one for the end of December. The end of November one was canceled because of COVID. And they are scheduled to meet December 28th.
What I'm wondering is if we get use out of it, it would be good experience to get an hour.
Mm.
So if they're meeting in the Ritter building, for instance, so it's mixed, then the owl would work well, from what I've seen.
The what? It sounds like you're saying owl.
We are.
Owl, it is owl. It's
Oh.
an automated microphone and camera system. It sits in the middle of the table and we're all sitting around. The reason I bring it up, we would put it right here for
Right here.
you.
Yeah.
Why would we be responsible to get that for other committees?
Because don't we do the video work for the committees? It's part of that.
Yeah, we do.
Save a lot of videographers.
I mean, the videographer would take it in, set it up.
Set up and leave.
Oh, that's the optimum, right? But, yeah, that's the way I'd like to run it. I was thinking if we got one, we could use it ourselves to get
Mhm.
experience with it. I think it's between $1,000 and $2,000, so it's not outrageous.
No. The top is 2,000.
Yeah, that's
And probably is going down.
right.
I just checked stock on it. They haven't sold stock yet, but they expect to soon.
Yeah. I think
Sounds
that
like a good idea.
was the one we had the bishop from
Bishop,
Canada
yeah,
coming in
yeah,
for us.
yeah.
But I also had one of the engineers working on it as part of our church. So he was there. He actually ran it off his cell phone. So,
You make sure everybody's singing.
yeah, right. Without- So what, does anyone think we should just try doing that?
Yes, I do.
Anyone else?
I'd vote for that.
Okay, I don't think it needs to vote. But is that something you'd care to buy? Joe?
I suppose so. Yeah,
If it's only, the 2,000 is not available publicly yet. $2,000.
As far as I know, it is.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna buy one just for my family. 'cause it's
Yeah.
something to play with.
It crossed my mind when
Yeah.
you mentioned that,
Yeah.
because I got family in England.
Yeah.
And we put it down in the middle of the Thanksgiving table.
Sure.
Get other people to join in.
Hmm.
I'd suggest if we get one, we get the top of the line one, if it's only 2,000.
Yeah.
Learn how to use it with us as we're doing this. And then find out, because it looks to me like hybrid's going to carry on one way or another for a long time.
Yeah, I think so too. And especially if, COVID gets worse, we have to be ready.
Well. Okay,
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard of a police station that uses it for surveillance.
Oh, really?
Set it up, any noise,
Yeah. Well, it moves to it.
so
Interesting.
you don't have to have
Yeah.
surveillance cameras over.
Huh. Okay.
This camera's
Anything else for Joe?
scary.
Hearing
It's
nothing.
good all the time.
You have the committee's thanks, as always. Future studio space, I've got nothing on except for two things. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, I
The
heard the town
special
voted.
town meeting, basically, on the advice of the select board and actually the TC Passios committee, we're also thinking that should be done. Because the number that went out in the booklet we all got went up by, I think, $6 million between the booklet going out and the
Huh.
meeting. So right now, as far as I know, it's pretty much stopped because they didn't
Building
get any
costs
money.
have soared.
Oh, yes,
We've been restoring a house down in Hull. We got it just under the wire
yeah,
and you can't buy anything now.
right.
oh, yeah,
they-
lumber
they're
especially.
trying
So
to
that's
buy
coming
us.
back down, actually, but it
Is
went
it?
up a
All
lot.
sorts of equipment is just not available.
Yeah.
I can't get a garage door till next May.
Oh, really?
I don't.
Mm.
Garage stuff.
Wow.
I couldn't get a wooden toilet seat for a while.
So,
that.
Who wants a wooden toilet seat?
Always.
oh, yeah, they're much better.
All, every toilet seat I've ever had is wooden.
Really?
Some
Why are they better?
Oh, they're
Warmer.
warmer.
Oh,
Warm, but cold plastic.
Don't put that in a minute.
well, it's already recorded.
public
It's already
information.
recorded.
Absolutely. I
It's
agree.
already
Right.
recorded, so, all right, me and my dumb questions.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're just trying to keep the public informed as the best,
Yes.
latest
Yeah.
development.
Better after they invented the hole in the middle of it, but that's a different problem. Meanwhile,
Do you,
The old days, the other houses.
they were, yeah, they were planks.
do you need a motion to adjourn?
No, because I'm finished yet, but
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you
yeah,
were.
given what happened at that meeting, I'm wondering if I, or maybe me and Joe, can be authorized to go to Heather and say, look, we need space. The way this is going, it's going to be another 5 years before we
Mhm.
have space. Easy. We can't invest in any real studio setup other than, trying to improve on what we've got. What I'm asked is that okay with you if we try and do that? Go and ask Heather, or just I can if you want.
sure,
Say,
sure.
what have you got? Who knows, the DPW may have a big building tucked out of the back nobody knows about. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, what I want is that I want it on Heather's desk.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's all I'm basically asking for.
Yeah.
I still think.
Or they may have some foreclosed property.
I mean,
Or a commercial real estate
Yeah,
agent.
right.
well,
I
that's
mean,
what he
let's
is,
get-
except,
He's-
we're a
Dave's not a real
town.
estate, Dave is just connected,
Yeah, but we're a town department,
right,
and as such, they should give us space.
right,
The way it's structured, we should equip the inside of it. That's what our money's for.
right,
And it's
Yeah.
just enough to make a proper studio at the moment,
right.
what we understand.
You shouldn't be
But I-
paying rent in the first place.
No, I know, that's another issue,
That's
but
right.
absolutely. So should I do it, or Joe and me, or the entire committee show up on the doorstep?
I'd love for the whole committee to go talk about it,
Okay.
get 20 minutes of her time and just,
Well, the other thing to do would be to invite her to one
That
of
in
these
front of our
meetings.
meetings.
yes, let's do
Let's do
that,
that.
yeah. She should know what everybody,
And we'll
It's
put that
fine.
item as third on the agenda.
Agenda.
Well, minutes,
Oh, right,
and then we put
Right.
the space thing.
right.
Invite Heather to come,
Yeah.
and then we can all flip our lids.
We've had her at the senior center 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
during meetings
okay.
To deal with.
She's amazing at the amount of time she
Yeah.
puts into
Yeah.
doing stuff.
Yeah.
Process was too.
Yeah. Okay, does anyone have any other business that may lawfully be brought before this august body?
Well, we don't see everyone. Wish you
Oh,
Merry Christmas.
last item on the
Okay.
agenda, sorry. And, yeah, we could put a Merry Christmas issue to everybody. We have January the 10th as our next meeting. You had a reason why it couldn't be the 3rd.
I think schools are celebrating that day as a holiday, so the kids go back Tuesday, the 4th.
Oh.
So wasn't sure if this building would be open.
Oh, it should be,
If not, I can open it.
but it's also not under, it's kind of mixed how the building's administered now, because it's been given back to the town.
Yeah.
But when I tried to get hold of the gym to use for disc golf putting practice, I was told it had to be scheduled through something called School Bug or something like that.
Oh, School Dude?
Yeah, that's the one.
School Dude is in the process of getting taken apart and
But anyway, I never got a reply back from the facilities, whatever, who actually runs it, who was supposed to show me how to get into that. So I could book it for every Wednesday for the next 3 months. So I gave up on that.
I can help you with that.
So,
Well, I think we may be too late for what we were trying to set up.
so we
It's a
can
win-
switch it to the 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Are we
prefer,
okay with
I
that?
prefer the 3rd
I prefer the 3rd.
because it's.
Okay.
We good with that?
Let Steve
Yep.
know.
And Jeff, would you include on the agenda every time communications, because I get emails occasionally and things like that. And we really should have a place from other agendas I've seen, they typically have that. So
So should I put that after public comments?
after public comments.
yeah.
so-
Just communications?
and-
Most committees I've been on too also have committee comments.
They divide public, we just have the
It's the
one
one.
for committee.
I
or
know the
public.
selectmen do.
Yeah, and actually the TCP people did it as well. Some also put couple of public comments again at the end of the meeting.
Right, right.
Which is even more curious.
Well,
Okay, so I will get in touch with Heather and invite her somewhat courteously to our next meeting. And topic of the day would be future space for Pacc. Well, thank you all, and would you care to make a motion that?
I would try to
all have
make a
happy
motion to
Christmas?
adjourn.
Oh,
and
that one, yeah.
Wish everyone well.
And to you.
Same to you.
Merry Christmas. Oh, I think
Do I hear a second?
Did we have a second for Merry Christmas and to Jen?
So how is your recovery going?
It's going good. I'm seeing the surgeon tomorrow.
Okay,
I have to go back to Boston to see the surgeon, but I'm much better now.
good.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, so hopefully you'll be on your feet soon, right? Moving around.
Right. Yep,
Normal as can be.
yep.
I like
All
it.
right, have a good holidays.
Thanks. You too and your family.
So we actually need to vote on adjourning as we had
Oh,
Pete made a motion.
you
I
said it doesn't need to be seconded.
No, it
For-
need, but no discussion.
Right. Oh, okay. Second.
Jeff already did.
Oh, okay.
And as we're doing it by roll call, Pete, Jeff, Faith, me, Steve. Oh. Aye, 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 and aye.
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 We're out of here.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Go Pats.
That's right.
It's gonna be a winter.